So we continue with the balance of payments. It's a balance sheet as if you work in accounting, and always it's very important that between the credit and debit, when you work in accounting, they must correspond, they may have the same number. So yesterday we saw the first part, which is the current account. The current account can have a positive or negative balance, depending how the economy goes in the country, the transfers, and what we are going to see today is those two components that usually we study together. Capital account and financial. This is, I would say, the two different sides of the same coin. So if this is positive, it should be the same number here but negative. And if this one is a negative number, it should be the same number here. It's like the debit and the other side will be the credit. So when we have a possession, do we have credits? We have debts. So normally in economy, if we do properly do the balance of payments and we calculate, it should match both numbers. So, okay, let's go with the capital and financial account, okay? Okay. So first, we're going to go with the capital account. What is the capital account? It's the funds put into the country. As easy as that. By, could be new immigrants, it could be money brought to the country from those immigrants living abroad. So when you send money back to your country, that would be a positive income in our capital account. So, I don't know, sent by immigrant people, immigrating people. It could be also assets, transfers, blah, blah, blah. So any way of money that is coming into the country, it will be a capital account. And this capital or this money coming into the country is going to be used, or the main purpose is going to subsidize the current account that we saw previously. So we have negative numbers account. It means it's a country, and the current account has negative numbers, it means it's a country which consumes more than it produces. Or it's a country who buys from abroad more than sells. Or it's a country who use, sends more funds than receive. So it's kind of inequality, you know. You have to subsidize this lack of money. So what you're gonna go is with the capital account is going to show you how you subsidize that extra cost. So the most simple example, exports, imports. You export a little bit, but you import a lot. So you spend more money, your country spend more money than sell abroad. So your expenditure is higher than your income because you don't buy. You buy quite a lot from abroad, but you don't sell enough abroad. Your country maybe doesn't have a very competitive sector, or the economy is not very well developed. So usually you're going to have a lack of money and you are going to subsidize with funds coming from abroad. Either capital, assets, international aid, and this amount of money coming to the country is going to be reflected in the capital account. In most countries, the financial account is going to dwarf the capital account. So financial account will be higher than the capital account. Okay? What happens Imagine if a country buy abroad. It will be a credit or a debit item. when we buy from abroad and we pay money, it's money leaving the country. So we export computers from America to Bangladesh. So every time that's selling. Now we buy from Bangladesh shoes. If we buy shoes from Bangladesh, if we buy abroad, American money is leaving or is staying? If we buy abroad, both. If we buy things abroad, the money is leaving or is staying or is leaving? Okay. Every time money is leaving, okay, this position will be called debit or credit. Is a debit item or a credit item? It will be called debit item. And the opposite, anytime that we sell abroad and some money coming to my country, that will be credit. Why it's credit? It's called credit because you can use for other things. Credit is what the banks give you. If you go to the bank and you need to buy some shoes, the bank will give you credit. That's money. So that's why when you sell abroad, the money coming into the country will be called credit item. And the opposite, the money you give away, okay, because you're buying from abroad, it will be called debit item. Okay, so I will put here buy abroad. Example, import. It's called, again, debit item. Sell abroad. Example, export will be credit item. So now, if we have our own country and we are in charge of the Ministry of Finance and you work for the government, would you want your country to be in a debit item position or credit item position? Credit position. Because your money will collect more money than spent. And this money can be reinvested in other countries. So that's what happens when you have a country in a position which is in debt and another one which is borrowing money, lending money. So lending position is when you are a credit item. You are able to give money to other countries. So for example, some economies in Europe, Germany, usually they are in this one. So they export more than import because they have good external sector and they are competitive and they sell products and the finance are quite clean and quite smoothly run. The country knows how to work well in the international scene. So they are in a position where they export in monetary value more than import. Or they provide more services and a better quality. So they get money from other countries. So the money coming into the country is credit for the country. Credit items. Money that it will be used to reinvest in other countries. For example, in exchange for an interest rate. So that makes the economy strong. So if we are in a normal perfect situation, when we talk about balance of payments, it's a balance sheet. And it made, today we do like by computer, but it used to be made by hand. And it's just as if you see a balance when you study accounting. Balance of your company, how much you spend, how much you get, how much you have to pay at credit loans, the amortizations. So indeed, what the most important factor we have to have into consideration is that the capital and final account must equal the money or the credit which is in the current account. Okay? So we have capital and financial account, it's minus 200 billion. Okay, current account. Then the capital and financial account must, the result of both of them added together should be plus 200 billion. So it means that this country in the current account has a negative number. So it's in a debt position. It's not good, it's the external sector. If you have 200 billions in your current account in negative numbers, red numbers, it means you were taking money abroad in order to subsidize what you have been spending. And this is the money that you have taken plus. If you have zero here, it means you don't take money and you don't give money. But that's never happened. That will be in the ideal model. Always, this number must be positive or negative, same here. So if this is negative, it means your economy doesn't go very well. Your country is actually buying a lot from abroad, and you need to get in debt in order to pay those bonds that we chase abroad. And the debt and the money you are collecting from abroad is this one. It's like this one serves to subsidize this one. Now, if this is positive, like the case of Germany, let's say, and this is negative, it means your economy, external sector, goes very well. So your money, your country is collecting more money. Because it's selling a lot, the economy goes well, providing services, investments, the country is giving money to investing, you have investors in the country lending money to startup companies in, I don't know, in Stockholm. So, then you have this. So it means you have a surplus. When it's the end of the year, your country has money. More money than has been spending. So when you have minus 200, what does it mean? So here we said, the money, the country is in debt, and it uses this money to pay this one. Clear here? Guys, girls, clear? Minus 200. I sell abroad for 300. Okay? And when I buy 500. So I sell computers for a value of 300 billions. But then when I have to buy electrodomestics, telephones, cars, because my country doesn't have. I spend 500 billions abroad. So then it gets negative. So I'm paying 300. So one minute. So if you have 200 billions, you're selling a good abroad a value of just 200, let's say, okay? Or 300. So I have motorbikes, I sell them abroad, and they pay me, okay? It's 300 I get. Then I need to buy from other countries, and I spend 500. What happens if I collect 300 but I spend 500? Yeah, you have minus 200. So how you pay the 200 here? How did you pay it? So you sell for 300, but you bought for a value of 500. It's because you spend the 300 that you have, plus you ask someone else to borrow you money, another country. So this is the money that you borrowed from other country. Now, let's take the opposite side. Your country sells abroad 700 billions, sells. Very good cars, very good electrodomestics, furniture, everything. It's very good. Your country is good at doing all those stuff. And then you collect 700 billion. But then when you need to buy things from abroad, you don't need a big thing. You don't need many of the items because you can produce yourself and you're good at it. So you spend 700, okay, and you spend just 500. So you collect 700, but you spend 500. Still, you have 200 in your pocket to spend, okay? Let's put it that way. Well, why then is negative number here? That's the question. Anyone can reply? Paul, why is negative number? Okay, so here, 200, it means that you receive money from abroad to pay. So minus 200 will be you give away. So Germany gets a lot of money, but it doesn't stay in Germany. Germany uses this money for other investments abroad. Actually, this minus 200 is those 200. The money that Germany gives away, so let's take this as Philippines, okay? And this is Germany, okay? The external sector in Philippines doesn't work very well. They need to import most of the goods from the United States of America. And when they want to export abroad, it's difficult because other countries put taxation on Philippines products. So they are not able to sell abroad as much as they can. So they always find a situation where there are red numbers in the balance of payment because they have to import more than export. And in order to pay those imports, Philippines has to borrow money from other countries, like Germany. So what happened in Philippines is minus 200. Philippines spent over 200 billions. How the Philippines pay? They have no money. They ask for money. How much? 200. So the capital and financial account, if it's positive, it means it's a country taking money where the money has been borrowed to them. And then where does it come this money? From other countries like this one. So the minus 200 is like Germany gives this money to Philippines. So Philippines get, that's how the external sector works. So many times some countries have a positive number, it will be a negative number in different one. And a negative number in, I don't know, in Sweden can mean a positive number in Mongolia. So they have to match. If we put all the countries together, they should match in numbers and they should give zero. If all the world is like black economy or submerged economy or non-record economy and everything is smoothly made, the balance of payments in every single country, this number, we put all the numbers together, it should give zero. Because when you have minus 200 or plus 200, it means you borrow money. And the money comes from other country. The country who was positive here because it was good, so he has money here. So what I'm going to do with this money? I will give to another country. Why? Because then Philippines have to pay interest to Germany later. Has to give back the money plus pay interest. And this is the debt trap, which happens in many developing countries. And South America can explain a lot of this. So they have to borrow money, and most comes from the United States. And they found themselves in a very nonsense dynamic where they have to work and repay back debt all the time, but they never get away from the debt. Because the interest rate keeps and they can raises the interest rate. And it's very difficult to the country to stand outside of the debt. So that will explain, okay? Shopping, do you understand? Yeah? So what is, if it's a negative number in the capital and financial account, what does it mean that Germany has minus 200 billions here? Shopping. Okay, Germany puts out, gives the money. Oh, it lends money. Germany lends money to other countries, okay? Karina, what does it mean if we have plus 200 billions here? Exactly. Why we borrow from other countries? Why do we need to borrow? Exactly. That's it. I can see you understand. Very good. Okay, so that will be in a perfect world where everything, you know, everything in economics is about many times ideal models or mathematical models that does not properly correlate with the reality. That's how economy should run smoothly. And it will be like this clear and pristine. The balance of payment should show all those transactions in a very loyal and fidel way. Sadly, it does not happen so easy in life. It doesn't happen so often that you have a proper balance of payment. Showing in a transparent way the information regarding the transactions in the country. So we have a balance of payment. And then sometimes we have omissions, or we forget something, or there is like submerged economy, like drugs, prostitution. If it's illegal, but this is not record. It's not record in the balance of payment, of course. So what we do is like we have net errors and omissions, especially omissions. It's a huge piece of information, a big cake. It's not so easy to calculate. all those. So quite likely many of the countries, they overlook at many of the transactions in the country. So the balance of payment is a balance sheet. Okay, sheet. So if it's properly recorded, the credit items should equal debit items, meaning that the capital account should equal also the capital and financial account should equal the current account. So if, as I said before, the two sides of the same coin. Example will be a deficit on current account should mean a deficit on current account should mean a surplus on capital and financial account. Okay, so deficit in current account should mean a surplus on capital and financial account on the same amount of money. But sometimes there are mistakes. And then you have a negative balance. You have, negative balance, it means that the numbers don't know much. So you have, for example, in your current account, minus 600, and then your capital and financial account, 400. So that will be wrong. It should be minus 400. So it could be more money has left the country unofficially. This is much more common than people expect. Usually, developing countries, they have this problem. You have negative number because many of the transactions are not recorded. It means there is part of the wealth of the country which has been not in the balance of payment and not registered. So those money usually end up in bank accounts in Switzerland, usually owned by presidents or people in power in those poor countries. So that's one of the main consequences of net errors and omissions. But this is a consequence. Mostly they should run smoothly, the accounting account. So remember, the balance of payment, we have those three components. The most important, current account, because you know how the external sector works. And then capital and financial account, explaining if the country is one which is on debt or lending money abroad. So that's one of the main or most important components of the external sector of economies who works abroad.